Gayunpaman, malaki na ang naging bahagi ng mga kababaihan sa lipunang Pilipino. Kaisa sila sa marubdob na paghahangad ng kalayaan ng ating lahi. Kabilang sila sa paglinang ng ating makulay na sining at mayamang kultura. Kasapi sila sa pagtataguyod ng mga adhikain ng kapwa mamamayan at sa pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan. Katuwang sila sa pagtuklas sa mga larangan ng agham at medisina. Kapanalig sila sa pagpapairal ng batas, karapatan at katarungan para sa lahat. Kabahagi sila sa paglilingkod sa bayan at sa pagpapanatili ng demokrasyang Pilipino. Sa paglipas ng panahon, hindi nagmaliw ang kanilang pag-ibig sa ating inang bayan. Mga kababayan, ito ang alay ng mga kababaihang Pilipino para sa bayan. Tumayo po tayong lahat at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Hi, I'm Engineer Florinda H. Oquindo, Director of the Alumni Relations and Career Development Office. The role of our office is to keep connections among students and alumni, provides complete range of services to students, alumni, and employers in the area of career development, graduates and professional schools preparations, employee relations, and campus recruitment. We also provide alumni and students with the tools and resources to help find success in all professional endeavors. To all freshmen, please come and visit us. Our office is located at N209 North Wing, 2nd floor.
Isang magandang umaga sa ating mga kaisko at kaiska. So sa ating mga estudyante ngayon na nandito sa atin sa Zoom, By the way, from the College of Political Science and Public Administration, maraming salamat at magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. So, meron din po tayong mga estudyante na nasa Facebook Live naman natin, nasa PUP Career Center Facebook page. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. So, I'm Professor Jane S. Pulma of the Alumni Relation and Career Development Office, and I will be your moderator for today's event. So, syempre, di ba, dahil Political Science and Public Administration tayo, bukod sa pagiging involved natin sa government service, or yung profession natin, most is nasa government service or nasa public service, meron pa tayong isang sanga or isang branch na pwede nating puntahan. Siyempre, ito ang pagiging isang abogado or pagiging isang lawyer. So, pag-graduate ka ng political science, honestly, most ng connotation simula pa dati, laging iniisip nila, magiging lawyer yan. Ang pangarap niyan ay maging lawyer. Pero syempre po, ang pagiging political science and public administration student ay hindi lang naman pagiging abogado or hindi lang pagiging abogado. Normally, yung iba po sa amin ay nasa government service po. Nasa public service. So, sabi nga nila, di ba? Ang pagiging abogado ay additional 4 years para sa atin. Okay. So, para umpisahan po ang ating event na to, let me welcome Professor Associate Professor John Carlo Colot to give us an opening message. Sir Colot, good morning.
Hello, yes, good morning. Good morning, Ma'am Jane.
Good morning,
And
sir.
also, yes, and also good morning to Attorney Rex, sa ating guest speaker ngayong araw. And good morning din sa ating mga estudyante, na nandito ngayon sa ating Zoom, from the College of Political Science and Public Administration, at dun sa ating mga nanonood sa Facebook, So unang-una po, gusto ko pong pasalamatan ang opisina ng ARCDO na nag-organize po nito. Isa kasi po, sa totoo lang, ang trend talaga, katulad ng sinasabi ni Ma'am Jane kanina, na pag ikaw ay graduate ng any program, hindi lang political science or public ad, ang trend talaga ay pupunta sa law school. Pupunta talaga sa law school. So, ayun nga, napaka-importante nitong ating webinar ngayon, kasi ito pong ating mga estudyante ay third year, so isang taon na lang, gagraduate na, at marami dito ay maglo-law school. So para mabigyan tayo, mabigyan tayo ng interface, o kung sabihin natin na background, ano ba ang papasukin natin, pag tayo ay nag-law school, para hindi tayo ma-culture shock. Yan. So kaya ayun, dapat na papakinggan ninyong mabuti, ang ipapaliwanag ni Attorney Rex, So coming from from the legal field, i-assess natin ang ating mga sarili, para sa atin ba ito, 'di ba? Para anyway, kahit isang taon pa lang, mapag-isipan na natin yung ating mga plano. So yun lamang po, at sit back, relax, pakinggan natin na marami tayong matututunan, and magandang umaga po uli sa ating lahat. Thank you, Ma'am Jane.
Okay, so maraming salamat, Sir John Carlo Colot. So maraming salamat po. So syempre, di ba? As I promise nga, wait lang to discuss about introduction to legal profession, hindi ko na patatagalin ang lahat. So let's me welcome Attorney Rex Norman Briones from the College of Law. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning po, sir. Guys, pwede bang virtual clap naman kay sir? Pabigyan. Ayan, sir. Okay? Sir, you may take away the virtual floor na po.
Okay. Thank you
Sa'yo,
for
sa'yo na yan, sir.
me this early in the morning of a Saturday. Pero alam naman natin, busy rin tayo pag Saturday. Okay, I'll be sharing this part with Attorney Madalandaya, who I'll introduce later, uh, since she'll be covering for those parts may questions tayo na mas intimate yung magiging answers kasi niya. Okay, so let me begin by delivering this message that I have prepared for you. Dear PUP political science students, as scholars of political science, you have embarked on a journey to understand the complex systems that govern our nation, and even extended your studies to different political systems around the world. You've learned to analyze policies, question authority, and seek solutions for the common good. But what if you could take your dedication to the next level, where your knowledge of politics becomes a tool for justice and your voice becomes a force for change? Law school will be a gateway to turning these possibilities into reality. It's where your passion for governance meets the power of the law, enabling you to not only understand, but also shape the future of our nation. As PUPNs, we are called to serve not just ourselves, but our community, our country, our fellow citizens. Law school is where your commitment to Para sa Bayan transforms into actionable change. It's where your voice, your skills, and your passion become powerful tools for building a more just and equitable Philippines. So if you're ready to take your dedication to the next level, to not just study, but to wield the law for the greater good, consider law school your path forward. There are various reasons why people enter into law school, but most of them would be for themselves. You can develop certain skills like communication, public speaking. We know that by instinct that lawyers are good debaters, that lawyers are good speakers. But as far as law students go, that is not always the case. There is this law student who is now graduating her fourth year in the PUP College of Law, and she still shivers while reciting. That may send the wrong message that law school is scary. Uh, but it is. And that's not a mistaken message. It's not that she's wrong for shivering, but we have been trying to correct that for 4 years. We have been trying to build her confidence for 4 years. And what is more impressive is that despite the fact that she shivers every time she recites, she has remained for more than 4 years in law school. Actually, this is her 6th year. It's her last year in law school. She has been taking it for 6 years already. She's about to graduate. So I believe that conquering her fears of public speaking is more impressive. And truth be told, she did not start that way. She she started worse. So she has developed this communication and public speaking skill in law school. Now, do you really need to be a speaker to be a communicator as a lawyer? There are desk jobs as a lawyer that really pay well, especially corporate jobs. If you become a corporate lawyer, you will attend to compliance with rules and regulations and laws that will keep the corporation running. They don't litigate, but they do negotiate from time to time because they have to really broker deals for their corporations. Problem solving. Problem solving is an essential skill to survive in law school. Because in law school and as a lawyer, the job is to face problems and to give them resolution. You will never get a case if you become a lawyer that is easy. There is always a problem. And that is why the pay is good. That is why people pay you a lot of money in order to get out of trouble, in order to vindicate their rights, in order to punish offenders. Sir, how is that troublesome? How is it troublesome to punish offenders? You see, uh, at this point, I want you to learn about a certain kind of truth that is used in law. That is called judicial truth. I'll type it in the chat box. So, judicial. Okay. Judicial truth is different from any other kind of truth. Objective truth, subjective truth, relative truth. When it comes to judicial truth, what is true is what you can prove. And most of the time, victims have problems collecting evidence against their offender, especially in private crimes. I call this private crimes because they are committed secludedly. Secludedly. They are not committed publicly. They are committed against a person locked inside the door, inside the room. So it's your problem how to prove it. In law school, you will always have to solve problems. In fact, you will not just have to solve problems in about your academics. Because once you enter into law school, people will start calling you attorney. As early as you enter law school, people will start to call you attorney. And they will ask, ano po bang gagawin ko dito? You as a law student, of course, would know that it is not your place to answer, that you are not a lawyer. Pero most of the time, the law students who are asked would answer, ganito po yan. Because you would have knowledge in the field. You would try to solve problems. We have that certain inclination to solve problems. Okay? Legal writing and research. Although the common notion of a lawyer is a public speaker, the real job is writing. We write hundreds of pages. We write pleadings, we write motions in order to state our case, to state our basis, and to convince. So, kailangan alam niyo na to, guys. At this point, lawyering is 80% writing. 80% writing, 20% speaking. You don't see that in legal related series like Suits. Parang hindi sila nagsusulat doon. O kaya sa How to Get Away with Murder. Wala silang time na nagsusulat lang sila. But the truth is, we write all the time. We don't stop writing. And let's say, I will attend the hearing today. When I get up to represent my client when my case is called, I don't speak a lot. I can even just say one line for the entire hearing. I can just say, motion deemed submitted, Your Honor. Because I poured all the arguments in the motion. And honestly, no matter how you argue verbally, the judge will really just look at your motion. The judge will just say, deemed submitted na lang, counsel. So that's the spiel. Motion deemed submitted, Your Honor. There are just certain parts of a hearing that you really get to imitate those, which we watch in movies, which we watch in series. But most of the time, it's about writing. You will develop legal knowledge. You will engage in continuous learning and have a lot of career opportunities. Now, the problem, personally for me, was that after getting into law school, I did not, I developed a distaste for watching the news. For I would prefer just reading newspaper articles. It's just that there are certain things that they miss that are hard to accept. Especially since our profession as lawyers is the most noblest profession in the world and in history. How is it more noble, sir, than the medical field, who heals even those who are uh, guilty, who heals even those who were their offenders, who heals even the most wicked person on earth. You see, when you compare it, when you compare it, it's easier to come to terms morally in saving someone. Okay, I'll just finish this part. It's easier to come to terms uh, to save someone whose life is in peril, even if they are the worst scum of the earth, than to come to terms to defending that person. To defending that person. Despite public knowledge that that person is a drug lord, that person is a rapist, despite public knowledge. So I tell you guys that the law profession is the most noblest profession because it's the only profession that gives the benefit of the doubt. It's the only profession that gives the benefit of the doubt. Despite everyone hurtling accusations against a person, you have to believe that if your client tells you they're innocent, even if you're the last person who would believe that, you have to believe it. Okay, someone raised their hand. Hi, I'd like to ask if you would like to uh, ask something. It's okay. You can ask anything at any time. I'll just finish delivering some parts and then let's talk. This is a career talk. This is not a lecture. We can talk. Okay? Sige. I'll get the ball rolling. Let's say, in law school, may recitation, guys, ah. Kaya even in this career talk, magkaroon tayo ng konting participation by recitation. Sige. Pili ako ng isa. Tapos, may tatanong lang ako, madali lang naman. Okay. Let's call on Tapiador, Maria Angela Luz. Tapiador? Hello? Okay, so wala yata. So, Babon Laila.
Eto, good morning po, attorney.
Hi, good morning. Gusto mo maging lawyer?
Totoo po, hindi.
Okay. Sige. Uh, let's say, hindi mo gusto maging lawyer. Pero, what do you think of a lawyer who would represent a drug lord? Is he doing something right or is he doing something wrong?
Attorney, is doing right po kasi po meron din pong karapatan kahit drug lord po yung tao na yun, meron pa rin pong karapatan yung tao na ipaglaban yung sarili niya and ayun po.
Thank you. Okay, let's call another one. Si ano tayo? Pragata Hans. Pragata Hans. Sige, ano yun, Walfred?
Ano po sir, he's doing right po and at the same time, he's doing his job. And sabi po din sa batas sir, laging innocent until proven guilty po.
Pero, okay, thank you, Walfred. Pero guys, alam nyo naman yun, di ba? Lalo na pagka kilala nyo talaga yung tao. May kilala ba kayong ganun? I don't know, may mga sikat siguro sa bayan nyo. Di ba? Parang, although, mas aware kasi ang PUP Pol Sci student sa right ng mga tao. So, mas marerespeto niyo yung choice ng lawyers. But in the general public, they think that lawyers are shady. Ito. Who here has heard the term lawyers are liars? Pa-react nga dyan. All lawyers are liars. Are liars. Pa-react nga dyan. Yung narinig nyo na, not for the first time. O, di ba? Narinig nyo na yun. Anyway. We don't lie. We don't lie. We just deliver. That is what our client told us. So that's what we're saying. That's what we're protecting. Okay? It would not be a lie since that's the job. Not because what you're saying is not the truth, but what we're saying is the truth in the job. That's another thing about judicial truth. Okay, let's go. Okay, for yourself, personal growth, sense of fulfillment, relations. You would, of course, those who would enter law school would face the realization that they should have studied this hard when they were in high school, when they were in college. Kasi personally, if sige, someone raise their hand, don't worry.
Sorry
It's
po, napindot lang po.
okay. Pero don't worry guys, it's okay to interrupt me. Okay. Sige. Ma'am Eusebio?
Yes, good morning, attorney.
Yes.
Yes, yung kanina po yung sinabi nyo na ibalik ko lang yung liars. Actually po, taga-IBP po ako, Integrated Bar of the Philippines. So, aanin ko lang po lahat ng mga lawyers. Sa totoo lang po, super magagaling lahat po ng mga lawyers. Sa nakikita ko, sa mga judicial nyo, sa mga profession nyo po, proud po ako. Kasi lahat po ginagampanan po nyo na nakakatulong kayo sa mga lipunan po. Kaya parang kanina maganda yung webinar na to para sa lahat. Kasi sa nakikita ko po, lahat po ng mga abogado, wala akong masasabi. Kasi ginagampanan po nila yung bilang profession po nila. At kayo po, proud po ako sa inyo lahat. Dahil kasi binuo nyo po yan para lang matulungan po ang mga lipunan po, ang mga taong kawawa na wala ding kakayanan sa ano po ng mga abogado. Maraming pong salamat. Kasi on my experience po kasi, kaya parang doon ako na-challenge kasi ang gagaling ninyo. Dahil hindi nyo rin pinababayaan yung mga taong mga maralita at mga mahihirap na tao. Dahil yung iba walang kasalanan pero nagkakaroon ng kasalanan. Pero andyan po kayo, nakaagapay. Maraming pong salamat, attorney.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, maganda yun. A little bit more on that. Pagka may kaaway kayo, pagka may problema kayo, sabihin natin may nagawa kayong mali. Kahit kayo na yung mali, gusto nyo pa rin ng may kakampi. Iba pa rin sa pakiramdam yung may kakampi. So, okay. Let's move on. Personal growth. And honestly, if I had studied as hard as I did in law school, nung high school ako, nung college ako yung valedictorian. Kasi you would really have you would really have something driving you already. Purpose driven ka na kaya ka na nag-aaral dito sa law school na hindi mo na lang to gustong gawin dahil kailangan gawin like sa college, kailangan mag-college, ito dagdag na lang to so this is a personal choice na pasukin mo kaya you would personally grow while you're in it. Sense of fulfillment. Ang laki ng sense of fulfillment pagka na-deliver mo yung long arm of justice. The arm of justice is so long, it's frustrating, nakakaiyak. Pero when you finally deliver the long arm of justice, ang laking ng sense of fulfillment. In the world that has gone all wrong, you did one thing right. Parang ganun yung feeling. So, relations. Ang daming relationships na madedevelop mo sa law school. Of course, baka makahanap ka dyan ng mapapangasawa mo. Diba? Baka makahanap ka dyan ng BFF mo for life. So, ayan. But technically, the law profession is a relatively small profession. Na kami-kami lang din nakikita. Kami-kami lang din nagsasama. Pag nagko-convention kami, kami-kami lang. Pagka nag-hearing kami, kami-kami lang. So, Makaka-develop ka talaga ng relationships here na professional. Okay? So, at wag na tayong magbiruan. One thing na reason talaga ay pera. Pera. Let's not delude ourselves na masama na pera yung reason natin kaya mag-abogado tayo. That's a good reason na ay malaki kinikita ng abogado, gusto kong maging abogado. That's a good reason. Not because you want to provide for your family, maybe because you just want to provide for yourself. That's enough. That's good enough. Meron akong kilalang abogado na napakagaling. Ang rason niya para mag-law school ay bumili ng sapatos. Para daw may pambili siya ng sapatos. And ngayon, bili ng sapatos. Diba? And, sa family nyo, sobrang complicated kasi ang dami kagad nilalapit sa inyong problema. Kayong mga kapamilya nyo. Laging ano yan. Kahit mga friends. Biglang may mag-chat sa'yo na hindi mo naman chinachat na, ay, kamusta ka na? Biglang may ganun. Tapos i-expect nila na libre yung advice mo. Okay? For the people, ito. Napakalaking motivation nito sa marami. Lalo na yung mga naging victims. Yung mga naging family members ng victims na nakita how hard it was not having a lawyer na lagi mo matatawagan. Kasi limited lang yung mga lawyer, konti lang eh. Hindi naman na bibigyan ng full attention yung mga kaso like you would if that were you handling the case of your family member. Di ba? So, I'll be straight with you pero itong mga to, they really serve they really serve the people. No, without question. Yung Supreme Court, yung Public Attorney's Office, yung mga law offices, na kahit sarili mong law office, di ba? They really serve the people. Ang laking bagay nila. Personally, I'm the chief of the Legal Aid Clinic of the PUP College of Law. Meron pala tayong Legal Aid Clinic Pag may problema kayo, pwede kayong lumapit doon. May office yan. Okay? Tapos, pagka gusto niyo lang naman, dumalo lang kayo. Makita nyo, may legal aid clinic tayo. Okay? There are a lot of notable lawyers, mga Pinoy. A few of which is Carlos P. Garcia, si Defensor Santiago, si Robredo. Okay, now, let's talk about why PUP Law. Ngayon, magre-recruit na ako. Mag-PUP Law kayo. Sino dito mga gustong mag-enroll sa law school? Taas ang kamay. Let me see. Sige, please raise your hand. Don't be shy. Gusto mag-enroll sa law school. Okay. Marami na. Maraming mga taga-PUP na nag-enroll sa PUP Law Marami rin from Polsai. Ayan. So, thank you for raising your hands. I'll expect you sa PUP Law Na, ang pinupuntahan ng PUP law students, ng mga PUPians na mga law school ay tatlo lang naman eh. Either UP, UMAC, or PUP. Doon lang naman nagpupunta ang mga taga-PUP din. But I would advise na mag-PUP na lang kayo. Bakit sir? Talo ba niyan UP? Yes. Bakit sir? Talo ba niya Newmac? Yes. Ang yabang ko pero totoo. Honestly, we are on the track na kinakalaban namin yung UP sa ranking sa bar exams. Consistent tayo since 2016. Since 2016, nasa top tayo ng bar. Bakit kulang to? Hanggang 2019 lang tong slides ko. I'm sorry, hanggang 2019 lang yung slides ko. Pero most recently, first place tayo sa law schools with 50. Actually, dalawa award natin dito sa 2023. First place dito sa first takers yan. Yung mga yung sa second takers parang top 3 tayo noong 2023. Tapos 2022, dalawa din award natin dyan sa 2022. Sa 2020, 2021, dalawa din award natin dito sa 2019. At dalawa din award natin dito, isang top 9, meron tayong top notcher na top 9. Tapos top din yung PUP. 2016, 100% passing rate tayo. 2017, meron din. 2018, consistently, nagtatap ang PUP. At kahit, parami ng parami yung pinagtatake natin ng bar. Kasi gusto natin 100 plus na yung, yung competing area natin. At the goal now is to get the top 1. The goal is to get the top 1. Paano namin ginagawa yan? Nagde-develop kami ng scholarship like UMAP. Tapos, nagde-develop kami ng mentorship. Student pa lang, first year pa lang may mentorship na. So, ayun. Makukuha natin yung top 1. Meron tayong dalawang bar bets ngayon. Actually, 3, 4, 5. Alos lahat naman sila bar bets eh. Ang kagaling kasi nila eh. So, let's pray na makuha natin yung top 1 this year. Magkakaroon kasi ng bar exams this September. Okay, we are affiliated with a lot of agencies. I don't need to show this. Pero may student organizations tayo that really help sa law school journey natin. Sa PUP College of Law, walang frat. Walang fraternity, walang sorority. Ano yan? Ang ginawa kasi namin doon, nagtayo kami ng academic organizations. Na instead na mag-fraternity, mag-sorority sila, mag-academic organization na lang sila. Ayan yung academic organizations namin. Meron kaming CODAL. Ito yung Christian organization. Pero yun yung, meron kaming ecumenical organization na pwede kayong mag-join. Bar Operations Committee, yan yung mga sumusuporta sa mga magbabar. Legal Aid Clinic, yan, mga external outreach pagka merong kailangang case. Research Core, saka MCDS. Yung MCDS, yun yung debate society namin. Ang daming awards yung MCDS na yan. Recently, nanalo tayo sa debate sa SLU. Okay. Madami ding student activities. Pero magugulat kayo kasi nung students kayo, ang student activities ay extracurricular. Dito extracurricular na academic. Puro academic yung Although nagkakaroon din naman tayo ng sports fest every now and then. So, sakit lang oh. Ah, okay. Sige. May bagong building tayo na tapos na. Okay. May bagong milling tayo na tapos na. Dapat mag-move in ngayong August. Pero meron lang konting complication. So by March daw. So pagka pumasok kayo sa bagong building na. Okay, tapos nagtayo tayo recently ng Masters of Law. Pero yun, ayaw namin matapos mag-aral. 4 years kang college, 4 years, 4, 5, 6 years ng law school, tapos Master of Laws pa. Okay, ito yung concern natin sa PUP Law. Magkano yung tuition per semester? Per semester, 21 to 23,000 per semester. Ano na yan? Kasama na yung miscellaneous dyan. Bumababa pa yan ng 19,000, 18,000. Depende sa units. Maintaining grade ay 2.5 and below. So, kailangan kayo, mga uno kayo. Okay? Pero 2.5 ang maintaining grade natin. Tapos, application period ay December 9. This December 9 to January 31, mag-open kami ng application period. You have to join ito, yung PUP Law Dean's Office Facebook. You have to follow that. PUP Law Dean's Office Facebook. Makikita nyo sa December to January na may application. Nauubos yung slot niyan na. Nauubos. Ang dami nag-a-apply. Out of 600, ang nakuha namin ngayon 200. So, ayan. You can come by the college anytime. So, thank you. Now, let's just uh, consider your questions. Let's talk about things, kung anong gusto niyo pag-usapan. By the way, I'll introduce my colleague, Attorney Madel Andaya. Hi.
Hello, attorney. Good
So,
morning.
she was my classmate in San Sebastian. Now she's practicing lawyer connected with Dabulo. And she's currently teaching also in PUP. So let's welcome Attorney Maridel Andaya with a virtual clap.
Nako.
She will help me answer your questions kasi mas magaling siya sa ganyan. Okay, meron bang mga questions about law school? Ano, sir, ano po yung pinakamahirap na case na hinawakan nyo? O kaya, ma'am. Tapos may magpapa-legal advice, no? Attorney Madel.
Nako. Dagdag ko lang si Attorney Rex, classmate ko rin ngayon sa Masters of Law.
Oo, kakasubmit lang namin ng paper kagabi. Oh.
Ayaw rin namin tumigil sa pag-aaral. Para-parehas tayong estudyante ngayon.
Hi, Gio.
Hi, attorney. Rinig po ba?
Yan.
Good morning po. Good morning, everyone. Ang question ko lang po, yung about sa Masters of Law, ngayon ko lang siya narinig kasi akala ko kapag doctor ka na ng law, hindi mo na kailangan mag-masters. Tama po ba yun? Or,
Juris Doctor. Juris Doctor yung degree actually.
okay, yung masters po, kailangan po po siya or
Masters.
necessary?
It's an additional masters. Pagka doktor, di ba marami rin silang mga ano. Mas alam mo yung Attorney Madel eh, pagka doktor. Di ba meron din silang yung MD?
Yes. Dito sa atin, meron ding Doctor of Laws, may Master of Laws. Kapag after mo graduate ng law school, pwede mo pang ma-enhance na mag-enhance yung knowledge mo. And yung title mo, pahabain mo na pahabain. All related to law. After mo mag-Master of Laws, pwede ka rin mag-Doctor of Laws.
Parang MD nga, parang medicine doctor. Pagka graduate ka naman ng 4 years ng course sa doktor ka na. Pero nagma-masters pa rin sila for cardiology, masters for ano. Tapos nagdo-doctorate pa rin yun. At marami ganun lang din. That's the same conception. So,
Siguro, siguro may confusion sa kanila, attorney, dahil ang degree nga natin ngayon, Juris Doctor na, may nakikita na silang doctor sa pangalan.
ayun. So, to answer your question, Gio, doctorate na yung dapat treatment sa Juris Doctor according to the LEB. Ngayon, kinokontest yan ng CHED, pero ang controlling body ay yung LEB. Legal advice.
Okay. Okay po. Thank you so much, attorney. Thank you po.
Yung Master of Laws, it's just an additional expertise for us. Okay. Ayan, maganda yung question ni Gio ah. Mahirap actually sagutin yun. Jan.
Good morning po, attorney.
Hi.
May mga particular subjects po ba kami na if ever na kailangan bantayan or pinakamahirap na subjects po na kailangan na matutukan ganun po?
Sige, I leave you with Attorney Madel for a while ah. Thank you.
Sa law school, you will deal with a lot of subjects and naka-group siya sa civil law, political law, may criminal law, may commercial law, may taxation law. Now, all those subjects, kailangan natin i-treat ng equally. Kailangan bigyan natin ng equal importance because in the bar exams, after natin graduate ng law school, we will apply for the bar exams. Lahat yan may merit. Lahat yan may weight. So, hindi ka pwedeng magfo-focus ka lang sa kung anong gusto mong subject. Lahat yan kailangan nating aralin para pagdating ng bar exams, lahat kaya nating masagot. And after natin mag-bar exams, eventually maging lawyer tayo, pwede tayong mamili kung ano yung kung ano yung specific practice na tatahakin natin, kung ano yung, let's say, merong mga tinatawag lang na criminal lawyers. Yun yung mga nag-focus lang sila sa pag-handle ng criminal cases. Meron ding nag-focus lang sa civil cases. Nagre-represent sila ng clients kapag civil case lang yung na-file. So, in law school, kailangan equal yung treatment natin sa subjects. Although, syempre magkakaroon tayo ng favorites. Habang inaaral natin, merong mga boring. But kailangan lahat equal importance para pagdating sa bar exams, lahat yun kaya nating masagot ng maayos. And after bar, pwede tayong mamili ng track or ng career path within the law practice. Sino yung nagtanong?
Thank you po.
Yes, Mr. Ilyazar.
Hello po, good morning po, Attorney Rex, Attorney Attorney Del. Tatanong regarding po sa may sinasabi po tayo or meron po tayong like the principle of the attorney client yung privacy po or yung ano nila, yung connection po nila. However po, paano po ba dapat i-handle kapag it concerns national security na po talaga? Meron po ba tayong provision or consideration na sa Pilipinas po na pwedeng parang makonsider yon para maging key po siya doon sa pag-answer regarding national security? At bilang isang attorney po, alam mo or alam natin na may alam talaga tayo sa national security. However po, parang napipigilan siya nung attorney-client privacy po. Thank you po.
Now, the attorney-client relationship, although very important siya, may exceptions. Pwede tayong I will not be specific with the exceptions anymore, pero hindi yan absolute. Although great importance siya, kailangan pangalagaan talaga ng lawyer, especially ng lawyer, yung details and information na nakukuha niya from his or her client. The law provides for certain exceptions, and one may be the national security. Kung magiging detrimental siya Kapag i-conceal ng lawyer yung details or information na nakuha niya from his or her client, kapag maapektuhan yung the public in general, it may be an exception to the lawyer-client relationship, yung privacy of the information provided by the client. So, it could be an exception sa privacy of communications between the lawyer and client. Of course, the public interest will be the most priority in every situation, lalo na sa lawyering. Priority natin yung clients, but if it could be, kung malaman ko, for example, na yung client ko magpapasabog, mag-iiwan ng bomba kung saang lugar na makaka-affect sa maraming Pilipino, then I have the obligation to sabihin yung detail na yon sa authorities because that would amount to a crime. And under the law, it is an exception to the privacy of communication between the lawyer and client. Okay na ba? Sino
Thank
yon?
you. Yes po. Thank you po, attorney.
Miss Negrido?
Hello po. Yes, ano po, mail po. Sorry.
Negrido, sorry.
Yes. Mabilis na question lang po. Tanong ko lang po, attorney, how to be successful at law school po?
How to be successful at law school? Napaka-general ng tanong, parang ang hirap-hirap isipin, no? Pero first, you have to love what you're doing. Kapag nag-enroll ka sa law school, hindi pwedeng trip-trip lang. Hindi pwedeng mag-aaral ka lang kung kailan mo gusto. Kailangan commitment sa pinili mong tahakin na path. Kapag nag-enroll ka sa law school, nasa utak mo dapat na kailangan mong gawin yung mga magiging assignment mo, kailangan mong basahin yung mga kailangan mong basahin para maging prepared ka every meeting. And as a piece of advice, kung maglo-law school kayo, yung bar review nyo mag-i-start siya from the moment you entered law school. From the moment na binuksan mo yung first law book na babasahin mo, doon pa lang, i-consider mo na that you are studying for the bar and not only for that specific subject, for that specific semester. To share lang, when I took the bar exams in 2022, after the pandemic yon, ang haba ng time ko to review, pero na-drain na rin ako. Ang dami ko na ring time na nasayang kasi nakaka-drain na kasi pandemic time yon. Nung sumasagot na ako ng bar exams, i-share ko lang na yung question, nung unang-unang question sa political law, sa very first question dun sa bar exams, ang naalala kong sagot ay yung naaral ko nung first year ako sa law school. So, ganun siya magiging ka-basic. Dahil siguro inaral ko na maayos nung first year ako, nung nagbasa ako ng libro, kaya yun yung naalala ko. So, the very first time na magbabasa ka sa law school, i-consider mo na nagre-review ka na for the bar exams. Yun siguro yung tip ko on how to be successful in law school. Just do the assigned tasks. Just read the assigned readings every meeting. And wala kang magiging problema. Time management din. I know maraming magiging working students. Syempre, yung iba magiging self-sufficient na lang because professionals na kapag law students kayo, nakagraduate na kayo ng isang degree. So, baka gusto nyo maging self-sustaining, pwede kayong mag-aral, pero maraming working students na nakakapasa ng bar exams on one take. Maraming working students na nakakapasa at nakakapag-top pa ng bar on their first take. So, walang magiging hindrance kung gugustuhin nyo yung gagawin nyo and you will love what you're doing. Ayun lang. Siguro, and talagang maging committed lang sa kung ano yung pinili nyong tahakin na career, and that is lawyering.
Thank you po ma'am for the answer.
Nicolene?
Good morning, attorney. I hope I'm audible po.
Yes.
Ayan, actually, I have two things would like to ask po about PUP law po. Marami po kasing rumors and rants sa Reddit and pages, groups about how toxic po daw sa PUP law. I would like to ask po kung totoo po ba yun or like sinisiraan lang po nila yung PUP College of Law. And second question po ay, since Attorney Briones was able to compare PUP law and UP law, I would like to ask po kung ano po yung take nyo if we're going to compare PUP law and San Beda law po, since marami naman din pong positive feedback about San Beda po. Ano po yung pinakaangat ni PUP law compared to San Beda po? Thank you.
As to San Beda, si Attorney Madal yung sasagot Pero as to Reddit, nakikita ko rin kasi yun na maraming rants sa PUP law. But look around and any law school maraming rants. There's a culture talaga ng law school na mahirap tanggapin. Mabigat talaga. That's why we are forced to study as law students. Although yung terrorizing, traditional approach yan. Traditional approach yan. Ang terrorizing na yan. Siyempre, merong mga hindi na natin matatanggal na ayun yung approach nila. I won't lie to you, it happens. But I would also claim as someone who experienced it, that it is something that was effective for me. Okay.
Siguro,
Susan Beda, sige, Attorney Madel.
siguro yung rants sa Reddit, actually hindi tayo sure kung galing talaga sa law student ng PUP yun. Pwede ring sinisiraan lang din nga. But in general kasi every law school naman, lahat ng, may mga students na talagang magrarant kahit ako. Isa pang tip ko pala for every law student, not only mental toughness but also yung lakas ng loob. Talagang you should be ready na mapahiya. Because lalo na kapag alam mo na hindi ka nakapag-prepare ng maayos sa klase, lahat ng lawyers, sasabihin ko lahat ng lawyers naka-experience mag-recite, ma-mental block, mapuyat, kakaaral, tapos nung nag-exam na or nag-recite na, nawala sa isip nila because sa antok o sa pagod, mangyayari nun at kailangan maging emotionally prepared din tayo. Kasi yung mga professors natin, hindi lang naman isang professor may encounter natin dyan for the whole course. Every SEM, iba-ibang professor, merong magiging mabait, merong magiging tough. Actually, ako, I would share this to you. I took my legal management course in San Beda. Law subjects na yung undergrad ko. In preparation talaga siya for law school. Undergrad pa lang ako, I was third year college in San Beda. Isang subject yon, constitutional law. Ang professor namin yung pinaka-terror doon sa college. And na-experience ko na nandun ako sa harap, nagalit yung professor namin, binalibag niya yung table, binaliktad niya yung table, sinipa niya yung pinto. Grabe yung kaba ng dibdib ko noon, natatakot ako kasi ilang taon lang din ako noon, ka-age ko lang kayo noon. And yung itsura niya, nakakatakot talaga, naninigaw siya. But when I entered law school, meron pa akong mga na-encounter na ganun. Nakasanayan na lang din kasi sa isip ko noon, matatapos din to and mag-aaral lang ako. Hindi naman ako kakainin ng professor. Mag-aaral ka lang ng maayos. And eventually, naipasa ko naman yung subject na yun. Naging committed lang ako. And lahat na naging assignment, inaral ko lang. May times na napahiya din ako sa recitation. Undergrad pa lang. Hindi pa ako sa law school. Pero ni-ready ako nun. Yung mental toughness ko, emotional toughness ko. Na-ready ako lahat. Ngayon, kapag lawyer na kayo, hindi natatapos dyan yung pamamahiya, meron kayong may encounter na court appearance nyo na bilang bagong lawyers, marami pa kayong hindi alam. So you will need the guidance of the judges or the senior lawyers. I-share ko lang din na nangyari na rin na sa court, napahiya ako, but it was an experience for me. It was a lesson. At least alam ko na, next hearing, hindi ko na gagawin. And hindi natatapos yung pag-aaral after mong pumasa ng bar. Lalo na kapag totoong cases na yung hawak mo. Lalo na kapag buhay na ng tao yung is on the line. Talagang mas aaralin mo pa and yun nga, babalik at babalik sa commitment. Kapag gusto mo yung ginagawa mo, hindi ka ganun mahihirapan dahil ini-enjoy mo rin siya at the same time nakakatulong ka sa mga tao.
Okay, so i-clarify ko lang yung official position ng Office of the Dean of the PUP College of Law as to the Reddit posts. The official position is there are proper channels to elevate your concerns. And kung may concern talaga na legitimate, you have us, we are open, we can talk about it and we can resolve the issue. Thank you.
Mr. Gordon.
Ma'am, good morning, attorney. May mga question po tayo from sa chat box. After po siguro ni Mr. Katain, pwede po natin sagutin.
Noted, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you po. Marami po kasi na, dumadami na.
Sige nga, papahelp kami dyan sa mga yan. Baka
Sige
hindi
pa.
pa namin nakikita. Samahan mo kami,
Yes.
ano tayo? Anong tawag doon? Anong tawag doon sa Spotify yung pinapakinggan? Podcast.
Sige, sir. Okay, si Mr. Katain na po. Ay, si Mr. Gordon muna tayo. Sir Gordon?
Hello po. Am I audible po?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon po, attorneys. So, I just wanted to ask lang po. Since I'm currently I'm an intern po now sa BIR, which is the Bureau of Internal Revenue po. And most of the time I'm handling papers about taxes. I just wanted to know po, since most of the attorneys that I've heard po, and also attorneys po doon na nasa BI po right now, I asked her what is the hardest subject in law school po, and most of there is answering taxation po. Why do you think po that is the one hardest question, hardest law school subject po? And also, is law pre-law is really a thing po, since they say po na wala naman po talagang pre-law subject, as long as you taking the necessaries po sa sa undergrad, and ano po yung mga advantages po ng mga different courses po, such as public ad or political science, sa pag-take po ng law school subject in the ng law school in the future.
Okay, sa first muna na sinasabi nila na taxation ang pinakamahirap na subject. I think that is the position of most of the law students simply because sa kanila nag-law sila para magbasa lang, hindi para mag-solve, hindi para mag-compute. So yun na naman ang rationale doon. But even in taxation law naman, it is not about computation lang. Lalo na for lawyers, theories talaga ang kailangang malaman, kailangan matutunan. I think the computation, let's leave that to the CPAs, to the accountants. Pero syempre, kapag nalaman mo yung theory, malalaman mo rin kung paano mag-compute. Malalaman mo rin yung formula or kung yung certain percentages ng taxes na kailangang bayaran ng mga taxpayers. So, yun lang, yung kinatatakutan lang talaga ng ibang maraming law students ay yung pagko-compute, takot sila sa number. So, kaya siguro may notion na yun ang pinakamahirap na subject. And siguro nga, din, nasaktuhan lang din na yung natanong mo, ganun, na ayaw niya nagko-compute. Kaya para sa kanya yun ang pinakamahirap na subject. Ano pa yung second question? Position sa, sorry, ano yung advantages ng Pol-Sci, ng courses?
Yes po. Yung mga undergrad courses po.
In reality, you can be admitted to law school if you graduated any 4-year course. But may advantages ba? Yes, may advantages. As to me, I was a graduate of legal management. Pero nga, tinake ko yung course na yon in preparation for law school kasi gusto ko mag-law school. Ang advantages, katulad na naikwento ko kanina, na-prepare na ako sa professors, sa dami ng aaralin. Hindi na siya ganun ka-overwhelming sa first year ha. Hindi na siya ganun ka-overwhelming kasi expected ko na siya. Kasi nga naranasan ko na sa undergrad. But eventually, siguro yung advantages, specifically sa akin sa course ko, yun lang yung naging advantage. Pagdating nyo sa law school, wala na yan sa course. May kakilala ko, biology ang course. Yung iba, advertising. Advantage lang siguro yung mga BS English, Pol-Sci. Advantage yan kasi nga may prior knowledge na kayo kung paano sa law school and nahasa na yung skills nyo in communicating and yung kung paano mag-spot ng issues and magsulat ng maayos. Pero pagdating nyo sa law school, lahat yan, kahit anong course nyo, madedevelop. And magkakatalo pa rin yan sa sipag nyo mag-aral. Ang Pol-Sci student, Pol-Sci graduate, and ang BS Bio graduate, kapag first year, ang Pol-Sci kapag hindi nag-aral, dahil akala niya, napag-aralan niya na yan sa undergrad, pero kapag ang bio nag-aral ng maayos, makakapag-perform ng mas maayos ang bio. Kasi sinasabi ko kanina pa, lahat yan, it will boil down to your commitment and to your passion to learn the law and to perform well in law school. So, hindi pwede dito yung mayabang ka kasi naaral ko na yan nung undergrad or mabilis naman ako makagets ng issues. Mabilis naman ako magbasa. Hindi ganun. Lahat yan sipag. Kahit yung pinakamagaling sa law school, kapag tinanong mo siya, hindi niya sasabihin na dahil magaling siya, kundi dahil masipag siya. So, kung gusto niyo mag-law school, talagang ipiprepare niyo yung sarili niyo na kailangan sipagan niyo sa lahat ng subjects. Hindi yung mamimili lang din kayo ng subjects para kapag naghirap ka kasi sa first year, second year, kapag dating mo sa bar exams, hindi ka na ganun mahihirapan. Kasi yung paghihirap no, nandun na sa prior years, sa early years mo sa law school.
Okay, so maraming salamat, ma'am. So, nasagot po ba yung tanong niyo, sir?
Yes po, thank you so much po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Sir Gordon. Next po is si Mr. Katain.
Yes, good morning po, attorney.
Good morning.
Yes po, bali yung question ko po, medyo parang nakalink siya dun sa tinanong ni Sir Gordon. Tony, pagkakaalam ko kasi ang lawyers is may mga different types po. Like financial lawyers, corporate lawyers, tax lawyers, criminal defense lawyers. So ang question ko, attorney, is pag nag-take ka ba ng law school, ah paano mo malalaman, attorney, kung saang type ka ng lawyer mapupunta or ganito?
Siguro kapag nag-aaral ka na, kung ano yung pinaka-interesting sa'yo, kung saan ka, minsan yun, ganun eh, kung ano yung pinaka-interesting sa'yo, minsan naman kung saan ka pinaka na-challenge. Siguro gagawin kong example yung kay sinabi ni Mr. Gordon, na yung nakausap niyang lawyer sa BIR. Basically, ang pinapractice niya is tax law because nasa BIR siya. Pero, nanggaling din mismo sa kanya na ang pinakamahirap na subject sa kanya during law school is taxation law. So, siguro dahil na-challenge siya sa subject na yun na lang yung path na tinahak niya para mas malaman niya. And siguro, ma-determine din niya kung papunta talaga siya dun sa career na yun, to be a tax lawyer. So, depende
So,
yan sa'yo. Hindi yan i-assign sa'yo. Walang magsasabi, walang magdidikta sa'yo kung magiging anong klaseng lawyer ka. Lahat yan kung anong gusto mo. To share lang din, ngayon, 2 years pa lang ako in the practice. I am currently practicing litigation. Nag-appear ako sa courts. But kino-consider ko rin in the future kung gusto ko maging government lawyer, kung gusto kong maging private practitioner o corporate lawyer, kapag lawyer ka na, ang laki-laki na ng opportunity sa'yo. Ikaw na mismo kung saang path mo gustong pumunta, magiging open yung doors sa'yo. Kasi wala namang distinction kung magaling ka sa ganitong subject. Lahat yan naaaral. And kapag lawyer ka na, hindi ka lang litigation lawyer. Pwede ka ring maging corporate lawyer. Pwede kang mamili after mong pumasa sa bar exams and mag-take ng oath, mag-sign ng role. Lahat yan magiging choices mo. And it's up to you kung anong pipiliin mo sa opportunities na yon.
Okay, salamat po, attorney.
Okay, so maraming salamat, Joel. So, like I said kanina po, may isa pong tanong sa chat box naman po tayo. Ma'am, how do you defend a person that you think innocent but all evidence is pointed at him? So, tapos yung ang next question po is, what are the perks of being a lawyer?
First, how to defend the person that you think innocent but all evidence is you will do your best to help that accused or that person to refute the evidence pointing at him. Yun yung task mo as a lawyer, tulungan siya. You would produce evidence. You would gather evidence na pang kontra doon sa evidence na nagli-lead sa kanya na perpetrator or na suspect.
Okay, so next question po is, what are the perks of being a lawyer?
Well, the perks, siguro nabanggit ko na rin kanina, the doors would be widely open. Ikaw ang mamimili ng kung anong gusto mong path na tahakin. You can be a litigation lawyer, you can be a corporate lawyer, you can apply to the government. Pwede ka maging government lawyer. You can teach. Kung introvert ka, ayaw mo ng mga tao, pwede kang sa office, pwede kang gumawa lang ng papers and pleadings. Lahat yan, pwede maging trabaho ng lawyer. And all of those would give you a good pay. Siguro, depende na lang kung saang office ka mapupunta or saang agency ka mapupunta. Pero lahat yan magiging open and ikaw ang may choice kung saan mo gustong pumunta. Kung gusto mo mag-litigation, kung gusto mo sa office ka lang, it's all up to you. Kung gusto mo mag-aral na mag-aral, pwede rin. You can take the Master of Laws. Pwede kang mag-aral internationally. You can apply for scholarships. Sobrang laki ng opportunity when you become a lawyer.
Okay. Next question, ma'am, is good morning po, attorneys. Ano po yung pinagkaiba ng lawyer as prosecutor and ordinary lawyer? And may specific po ba ang na-need lang i-handle ang case based sa status ng pagiging lawyer?
The prosecutors are under the executive department. Under sila ng... Sila ay nagdedetermine if there is a probable cause. Sila ay magdedetermine if the case should be filed in court. Kapag nasa prosecutor pa lang, wala pa siya sa korte. They would determine kung may chance, ay kung may probable cause or kung may weight yung evidence na na-present doon sa nung nagreklamo to file the necessary case in court. Ngayon, siguro yung tinutukoy mong ordinary attorney, yung mga nag-appear sa court na practicing, yung from the law offices. May mga law offices na may specific cases na tinatanggap. Like say, may mga election lawyers. Lahat ng mga election-related cases pwede niyang tanggapin. Meron ding civil. Pwede niyang tanggapin yung mga cases na civil cases lang, yung mga magbabayad ng mga utang. Meron ding lawyers na tatanggapin yung mga criminal cases. So, pero lahat yan, let's put it in our minds na lahat yan na aral ng lawyers. Meron lang sigurong senior lawyers na yun na yung doon na siya nag-focus. Kaya doon na siya gumaling sa specific area of law na yun. Sino bang mga... If you know Estelito Mendoza, sino bang nakakakilala sa kanya? Isang napakagaling na lawyer na nagfo-focus sa criminal litigation. Yung mga decisions na Supreme Court, nakakaya niyang ipa-reverse because of his seniority and because of his expertise na sa subject, sa specific area of law. So, lahat yan magiging open sa'yo. Lahat yan magiging opportunities for you. And kung gusto mo mag-practice ng taxation law, you can focus on that. You can accept cases na related lang dyan. Nasagot ba yung question?
Yes, ma'am. Maraming salamat, ma'am. Next question po. Gaano po kadaming lawyers ang graduate na nakakapagtrabaho agad at lahat po ba nagkakaroon ng case or pasok po ba sila sa private?
After passing the bar examinations, hindi
Yes, ma'am.
pa lahat lawyers. May oath taking pa, may signing of the roll. After the signing of the roll, dun ka lang officially magiging lawyer. Ngayon, merong mga lawyers na ina-absorb ng companies, ng law offices. But most, if not, most of the lawyers nag-a-apply ng trabaho. And kaya rin namin kayo hinihikayat mag-law school kasi there is a need for more lawyers talaga in this country. Sa public attorney's office lang, ang dami-daming kaso na hinahawakan ng mga PAO lawyers. So, para naman matulungan natin sila, kailangan natin magpadami. Kailangan maraming lawyers, lalo na government lawyers, para makatulong sa mga tao na walang pambayad or makapag-provide ng pro bono services sa mga tao. Lahat ba nagkakaroon ng case or napasok sa private? Ako ngayon nasa private practice ako. Nag-apply ako sa law office. Lahat ata na nasa batch ko, working din ngayon. They are connected to law offices, government agencies, even sa Congress. Lahat magkakaroon ng opportunity. And meron siguro madidelay lang sa hiring, sa trabaho, but the tip there is before you pass the bar pa, habang waiting pa lang kayo sa results, you can apply for your target jobs na para kapag pumasa ka, ma-absorb ka na lang ng office. Or siguro meron sa inyo magiging working students kung saan kayo related or saan kayo connected during law school. Pwede kayong ma-promote or pwede kayo absorb as lawyers ng kung saan kayo connected habang nag-aaral kayo. So, malaki ang opportunity, and siguro ito lang yung I'm sure na lahat ng lawyers mabibigyan ng opportunity. Hindi nga lang sabay-sabay, merong madidelay, pero lahat mabibigyan ng opportunity to serve the people.
Okay, ma'am. Next question po is, what I have learned from my constitution class way back freshman year is that your primary job is to provide the mass due process na dapat natamo ng masa even though you are representing the high-profile criminals pa yan. The job is mabigay sa kanila yung due process na naangkop na maparusahan at dapat nilang pagbayaran. Wait lang, ma'am, ha?
Okay po.
So, ang tanong po niya, specifically, ang haba ng questions. Wait lang po, ah.
Naka-direct message po ba yan sa inyo, ma'am?
Hindi, ma'am. Nasa GC po siya. So, ang job is mabigay sa kanila ang due process na naangkop na maparusahan ang dapat pagbayaran. Everyone deserve constitutional right, even those yung mga technically nasa mali. In the best way possible, you are excluded yourself pa as a lawyer is a liar narrative because you uphold the justice system at nararapat para sa lipunan. Yun po yung term niya. What is the best possible way you are excluded yourself as lawyer is a liar po sa narratives? Siguro, ma'am, justification or nanghihingi siya ng something na how to defend yourself na sa mga sinasabing lawyer are liars.
Yung lawyers are liars, naging perception na lang siya ng public. Because sabi nga niya, everyone has a right to due process, everyone has the right to be represented, kahit pa yung tingin yung tao na pinaka-guilty, kailangan pa rin niya ng representation ng lawyer. Let's say, for example, na lang yung recent, si Mayor Alice Go. All the proof, all the evidence point na hindi siya Filipino, but she remains her stand na Filipino siya. And that will be the stand of her lawyers. Because her lawyers represent her. Hindi naman nila pwedeng i-represent yung sarili nilang opinion. Their duty is to their client. So, kaya nga sinasabi natin, pag lawyers walang personalan, we lawyers represent our clients. And we simply state, or we simply relay to the court and to the public kung ano yung sinasabi nila, kung ano yung stand nila, kung ano yung pinaglalaban nila. And don't put that personally to the lawyers, because lawyers simply represent their clients.
Okay, so thank you, ma'am. Next question po is, how flexible po ba is the curriculum of PUV College of Law for working student? How many units does each semester hold daw po?
I think I'll answer that. So,
Nice.
hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 90% of students sa PUPI work in subject. So, as much as possible, we made it more workable for them. Kasi from 26 units per semester, binaba na namin to 19 units per semester. Pero honestly, mabigat pa rin yun sa kanila. Kahit anong ibigay mo kasi mabigat. Pero imagine that, 26 units to 19 units per semester. Ang laki ng difference sa atin ng offer niya dahil namin kasi ang dami. Pero time namin, mga working students na rin yung and we're developing a 5-year course para sa working student family. Pero I believe na kahit ma-develop yun, magiging mabigat pa rin. Kasi those who whatever form is hard. Thank you. Yung another question? Ano yung another question? Yun na para ito.
Okay, sir. So, actually, ang alam ko po is ang College of Law, PUP College of Law, meron silang day school at meron silang design for night school and Saturday class. If you do have question po regarding the curriculum well as the subject offering of the College of Law, pwede nyo naman po silang bisitahin ang College of Law and ask for kung magpipit or magsaswak yung schedule nyo, kung magtatrabaho kayo o magpo-full-time student. So next question po is, good morning po, attorney. Ano po ang pinagkaiba ng attorney at ng judge? Like same lang po ba na dapat Bachelor of Law ang course nila at dapat pasado sa bar exam? Thank you po.
Yes po, the judge is also a lawyer. Yun nga lang may at least I think 10-year experience in the practice of law to qualify or to qualify as a judge. Kaya basically parehas lang sila. Yung mga judges nagdaan din yan sa pagiging litigators, nag-appear din sila before the judges before they become judges. Parehas lang yung requirements.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good morning, attorney. Ask ko lang po, my friend and I plan to take a break after graduating from college for at least 2 years. What book do you recommend for advanced reading before law school? Thank you in advance. Yes, ma'am.
Kung law books, I'd recommend political law books. Lalong poli-sci kayo because simple pa siya basahin. Interesting pa siya sa inyo. But outside law school, I'd recommend you to read any reading material na alam niyong tama ang grammar. You can read I think that is the position of most of the law students. You can read a magazine. Ang goal mo dyan habang hindi ka pa naglo-law school is to enhance your reading comprehension. And siguro bumilis ka rin sa pagbabasa in preparation for your law school admission after 2 years. Kasi pwede ka magbasa ng kahit anong book na dapat, ito lang ang tip ko, dapat tama ang grammar, tama ang English. Kasi pagdating mo ng law school, paaralin mo ulit yung law eh. Pwede ka mag-read in advance ng books with annotations, political law. You can, kung may target kang law school, you can ask certain law students there kung ano yung binabasa nila sa first year law nila, yung recommended ng professors usually, para you can read in advance and yung mga hindi mo maintindihan, ma-research mo na kung anong ibig sabihin. But anyway, 2 years pa yan, you can read any book that will be helpful for your reading comprehension. Kasi pagdating mo sa law school, ang kailangan mo ma-develop is yung issue spotting. Kasi pagdating ng bar exams, you will be given questions na mahahaba and maraming issues na ilalagay doon. It is your job and it will be essential na alam mo kung ano yung specific issue na hinahanap doon sa problem. So yun na madedevelop mo throughout your law school stay.
Okay, so maraming salamat, Attorney Maridel, sorry. Guys, may question pa po tayo for Attorney Birones and Attorney Maridel. Pa-type 1 naman kung wala na at satisfied na kayo. Ayan. So marami naman nagbuwan. So baka Opo, lolobo na naman ang College of Law ng Politics ng PUP ngayon.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
May mga direct message pala ako na-receive.
Ay, sige, ma'am.
I be allowed to read?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to remain anonymous po. Financially speaking, hindi po kami ganun ka-stable pero gusto ko pong ipagpatuloy ng parents ko sa law school. Takot po ako sa repercussion nito. Kakayanin ko po kaya mag-work privately while nasa law school. Yes, it will all boil down to your determination and your commitment to finish your law school. Like I said earlier, maraming law students na working. Sila pa kasi ang masisipag kasi nga marunong sila mag-manage ng time nila to work and to study. So, dahil sa commitment nila, sila pa yung mga nag-e-excel sa law school, sila pa yung nag-e-excel sa bar exams. So, it will all boil down to your personality, sa commitment mo, sa sipag mo. May mga struggles lahat. And siguro, yung sa'yo, sinasabi mo kanina, financial struggle. So, tatrabahuin natin. Lahat yan magiging worth it kapag pumasa ka na ng bar exams. Another good day, attorney. I have a couple of questions. What kind of mindset should we adopt now that can help us succeed in law school? Also, what can we do about our fear of embarrassing ourselves during recitations? Thank you po. Mindset, ang sinasabi ko talagang kailangan gusto nyo yung ginagawa nyo. Gugustuhin nyo mag-law school, magiging prepared kayo, mapahiya. lahat yan pagdadaanan nyo para maging tough kayo. Hindi lang sa law school, kundi pagdating sa practice after passing the bar exams. Makaka-relate dito si Attorney Rex. Although si Attorney Rex kasi masyadong magaling ng law school eh. Parang konting lang yung experience niya ng ganyan eh. Pero ako kasi marami eh. So,
baliktad kasi yung issue, sir. Actually, mag-clean state na lang ako. I'll put it out there. Ako yung nare-read. I'm one of the professors na kinakatakutan sa Reddit. Mostly because of my voice, my way of delivery. Ito, lalo na pagka nandun kayo, surprise. Kasi I really play a role na professional. Hindi na ako nakikipag-piron ka. But what I have to say is yung pride, yun yung puhunan. Yung takot na mapahiya sa recitation, yun yung nagdadrive sa yung mag-aral. Although hindi ako na mapahiya sa recitation, yun lang, masyado malakas yung process ko lang. Sasabihin ko lang, are you sure? Kasi nakakatakot na.
and lahat yun, tatandaan nyo siguro na lahat yun para makatulong sa inyo. Hindi lang naman mamamahiya ang professor kung nag-aral kayo. Hindi rin kayo makakaramdam ng kahihiyan kung nag-aral kayo ng maayos. So, lahat yan, those will be your driving force to study harder and to study better and to study smarter. Kaya, lahat yan para sa inyo. Wala namang makukuha ang professor kung ipapahiya niya kayo. Ibabash niyo pa siya. Bashing lang ang makukuha niya, pero yung mga ginagawa niya na pamamahiya, na nasasaktan yung mga pakiramdam, lahat yan para sa inyo to develop your skills and to help you grow in your chosen career path.
Alam mo kung ano masakit sa inyo? Yung masakit yung wait ka na, awat ka na, magkasihan. Sobra-sobra na yung ginawa mo. So, tinanong ka, naaral mo yun, dapat alam mo. Tapos hindi mo nasagot. Hindi ba yun? Kaya yun yung puhunan, guys. Hindi yung dahil napahiya ka. Hindi dahil napahiya ka sa sarili ko. Di ba?
And your classmates won't mind. Hindi nila yan itatatak sa utak nila na napahiya ka sa klase kasi lahat nga kayo may experience nyo yan. Lahat kayo makakaramdam ng takot, ng lungkot, at ng papamahiya. Kaya may equal footing kayo sa classroom. Ang kalaban nyo dyan sarili nyo. Kaya talagang mental toughness, emotional toughness, yun ang magiging puhunan nyo para makasurvive sa law school at maging lawyers eventually. I
Okay.
think wala na pang questions, ma'am.
Opo. Actually, mama, relate ako doon As a professor, syempre, hindi naman po minsan kagaya ni Attorney Rex na talagang, are you sure about dun sa answer mo? Nagtatanong po talaga kami. Or hindi kami namamahiya. It was not our intention para magpahiya ng estudyante. But, ito yung tinuturuan namin kayo na tumayo sa sarili nyong mga paa. Ibig sabihin, gusto naming i-depend nyo yung answer nyo. Gusto naming mag-isip kayo ng mas malalim and outside the box. Na kung ano yung nabasa nyo, or ano yung naranasan nyo, but outside dun sa mga within the classroom. Yun yung sinasabi nila na it's not the intention ng teacher normally na mampahiya or magalit or lalo na pag nagtatanong kami na are you sure about that specific? Are you sure about your answer? Hindi po yun yung intention namin. Hindi namin tinitest na nagbasa ba kayo? Hindi lang yun. This is a test para panindigan nyo kung ano yung answer nyo. Para kung kami yung kalaban nyo, paano nyo i-depensa yung sarili nyo. Yun yung way ng teacher. Yun yung way ng pagtuturo namin sa inyo. Hindi namin pwedeng alang-alamang mag-grant kami ng mag-grant sa inyo, di ba? So, minsan, kailangan namin ituro sa inyo yung way na alam namin papangit nga yung image namin, pero kayo matututunan nyo paano nyo i-depensa ang sarili nyo. At paano nyo i-depensa ang answer nyo. So, yun lang po yun. So guys, may tanong pa ba? So wag kayong magagalit sa mga teacher nyo na ang kukulit na pag tinanong kayo, okay, so anong ibig sabihin or sabihin na natin, normally anong tanong na, what is the right to life? Siyempre, normal yan as political science. Tapos, siyempre, sasagutin natin. Tapos, are you sure about your answer? Tapos, pag sinabi ng yes, ma'am, oh, give me a proof. Sunod-sunod na yon. So, minsan nararattle tayo. Pero syempre, tinuturuan namin kayong mag-isip. At tina-challenge namin kayo. Okay? Diba? So, I hope.
Yung sa akin, from my experience, yung mga professors na kinatakutan ko during my law school, after I passed the bar exams, sila yung mga una kong naisip na gusto kong pasalamatan. Kasi sila yung tumulong sa akin na mag-aral ng mabuti para sa bar. Sila yung mga naging inspirasyon ko, kumbaga. Hindi ko sila tiningnan as kaaway ko or pinahiya ako nito. Hindi ganon. Ginawa ko silang inspiration to study harder and to prove to them na worthy ako sa grades na binigay nila dati and worthy ako maging lawyer na na-handle nila. Yun lang, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Tama ka dun, ma'am. Kasi may mga ganun din kami sa Polsai eh. May mga faculty rin kami, lalo na nung time ko, na talagang isang buong 1.5 hours nakatayo ka, ikaw lang yung gigisahin. As in, ikaw lang yung tatanungin. So, parang diniscuss mo na yung isang buong libro. Pero isa lang ang question niya, pero parang diniscuss mo na yung isang buong libro. At 1.5 hour, minsan 3 hours, 2 hours. So, relate ba kayo dyan, mga Paulsay? Pa-heart naman kung relate kayo dyan.
Guys, everyday sa amin yung 1.5 hours.
Diba? So, yun. So, at least alam ko, diba? Relate, most of you nakaka-relate kasi Paulsay kayo. Siguro, yung iba nga na naging na teacher nyo ngayon, ay teacher din namin nung bata pa kami. So, maraming salamat sa ating mga estudyante ngayon. Okay, so may tanong pa ba tayo kay Attorney Briona saka kay Attorney Maridel? Pa-heart naman kung wala na para at least ma-award na natin ng certificate kay Attorney Rex. Wow, ayan, nag-heart na sila, ma'am. Okay. So, guys, ang link na evaluation natin is na ipopost ko na po sa ating Zoom chat para po makareceive kayo ng inyong digital certificate. Kindly answer the evaluation form. And the link for evaluation is currently posted na rin po sa ating PUP Career Center Facebook page. So maraming salamat, Attorney Rex and Attorney Maridel. So maybe next time gawa naman ulit tayo ng isa pang webinar or face-to-face activity para sa ating kolehiyo. Tama ba, Sir John? Sir JC? Sir, mukhang nawala si Sir Colot. Okay, so pwede po tayong gumawa together with Alumni Relation and Career Development Office ng mga activity para sa ating mga estudyante. Syempre, hindi lang para sa College of Political Science and Public Administration, pero syempre para sa ating mga kaisko at kaiska rin. Syempre, madami ma'am yung mga nag-aambisyong maging lawyer, hindi lang mula sa kolehiyo namin, kung hindi mula sa iba't ibang kolehiyo at iba't ibang branch ng Polytechnicum Universidad ng Pilipinas. So, let me award the certificate of appreciation to Attorney Rex Briones. Sandali lang po, let me share my screen. Okay, this certificate of appreciation is presented to Attorney Rex Norman Briones, College of Law, in grateful acknowledgement of his engagement in insightful academic contribution as reviewer or online career civil service examination course reviewer with introduction to law, to legal profession, importing unparalleled knowledge and expertise in the area of specialization, introduction to legal profession during the conduct of the online career civil service examination course and class with introduction to legal profession held on August 10, 2024 via Zoom video conferencing platform and Facebook live stream. Engineer Florinda H. Oquindo, Director, Alumni Relation and Career Development Office. Associate Professor Elmer M. Soriano, Dean College of Political Science and Public Administration. Tomas Otis Tor, Vice President for Students Affairs and Services. And again, Attorney Maridel, this certificate will be awarded po same sa inyo. Wala lang akong na-prepare, sorry ma'am. So, I'll be giving the certificate po personally kay sir. Siguro by next week po. Okay. Maraming salamat. I'll be needing lang po the information. I'll be getting their information kay Sir Rex po para po sa certificate. Okay, so maraming salamat sa ating mga kaisko at kaiska na nandito ngayon. At imagine from 8 o'clock kanina hanggang ngayon nandito kayo. At alam ko marami kayong natutunan at marami pa rin kayong matututunan sa mga activity na inihahanda lagi ng Alumni Relation and Career Development Office. So by the way po, the Alumni Relation and Career Development Office aim to to aid the student or to help the student and assist the student in their pursuit of their career. So kung may mga tanong, lalo na kung kailangan nila ng tulong regarding the career, nagkakandak po kami ng mga webinar na ganito para sa kanila. So next time siguro hihingi ako ng tulong from the College of Law for Data Privacy Act and Safety. Para naman po, at least lecture naman po yan for College of Engineering and those who want to pursue at maging data privacy officer. 'Di ba? Para may background agad po sila. Okay, maraming salamat Attorney Maridel tama, and Attorney Briones po. So guys, hindi ko na po patatagalin. I'm Professor Jane S. Pulma of the Alumni Relation and Career Development Office. Again, magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat at isang maulang pala, maulang tanghali. At ingat po kayo, sir. Ingat tayo sa pagdadrive, guys. At syempre, stay hydrated as always. Kahit maulan ngayon, medyo mainit pa rin. So stay hydrated, guys. And I'll see you all on the face-to-face po. Maraming salamat at ito na po ang ating PUP hymn.
Amen.